Well, we're back into the pistol round now for map 2 on Train Fnatic on T side and Mousesports on the CT side. And it's a bit slow to begin with, lots of walking.
All right, so we have the Fnatic side moving into the B bomb site pretty damn quickly. Nico has got the range at the back, but Dennis is quickly closing in on him, and indeed there is the first frag for said man. Next is going to trade, but Dennis is getting another frag, and Christo coming in. So Dennis winning 3-1v1s, finally getting taken down by tabseN. 2 versus 3, Mousesports at a significant disadvantage here. And the T's have got control of connector, but where is the bomb planted? It is planted default. They have a player on the high ground. There is no GG Molotov here, so people will need to fire shots. And speaking of which, Dennis will get taken down from the back. tabseN shot down to 1, and then eliminated. The pistol goes to the Swedish side.
Well, good start then for the Swedes. It is their map to take for that quick 2-0, and I think they probably would want to avoid any awkwardness in going to a third map, as we saw in the first best of 3 happening to Dignitas. And we have the Deegs in force. 3 Deegs, 4 Deegs.
Deegs.
So expecting to see a nice anti-eco round from Fnatic. Flusher getting flashed in there to take a peek onto the long angle towards the inner bomb sites. And keeping it fairly passive to safeguard themselves against early aggression from the CTs, but there is to be none so far.
So tabseN just admiring the floor there on the B-bomb site. And he will have Swedes to admire soon, as well as 3 players are moving into the site with 2 not far behind, perhaps watching some flanks. Nico moving into position, spots a Wenton, takes a Wenton down. He will get, well, Fnatic will have their revenge. Another default plant coming in. It was Astralis who actually go for the side plants on the train, which means they can defend it from either side of the site, though. This is an anti-eco, and I don't think Fnatic will be too concerned. More 1Ds coming in, but everyone's dead now. 4 headshots, 3 for one side, means that Fnatic will be 2-0.
It's a lot of numbers there, James. How do you do it?
Don't know, Dan. I don't know. It's just a natural talent, I suppose.
All right then. Well, it is time for the full anti-eco for Fnatic. They don't have to run into too much. I mean, Nex has the Eagle and Nico's on a PT50, but other than that, it's not much. I like how tabseN has a flash. I like that. It's nice. We've talked about that quite often, and then we saw them do very well with that one flash in the previous map on Cash.
Flash is literally rolling with a Glock. Well, I suppose...
I support that.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if he's just wants to run around and get the information for his team, then perhaps he doesn't even need to buy well, yeah, he doesn't even need to buy...
There you go.
An SMG is what I was trying to say, my words are failing me.
People underestimate that, especially on the CT side. If you go for an MP9, if you don't get 2 kills, at least it doesn't pay for itself. So what are you going to do in the first gun round when the T's all have helmet and Kevlar? It's kind of risky to stay on the MP9, and if you switch it for an M4, then it's a wasted investment, basically.
Well,
so
you obviously haven't been watching the Liquid games, where Hiko's had a Bison on a buy round on the CT side.
I do not watch Liquid games unless I have to, because I am not a masochist, James.
Well, there we go. It's been a regular occurrence. We saw it yesterday on Dust 2. Didn't work out, if you're wondering.
What a surprise. Never would have guessed that one.
I mean, the only supporting argument for any MP9 action is how far has pretty consistent results with it, but he might be a bit of an isolated or a bit of an anomaly, a bit of an outlier, to be honest. Probably in the grand scheme of things.
I think it's okay. Like he's a good example because he uses it also because of the positions he plays, right? So for him it makes sense, but you know, maybe G2 takes it a bit too far when 4 or even if all 5 players have it. It can't pay off for everyone, right? Even if everyone gets a single kill, it still doesn't pay off for itself. So
that's actually a very good way to
maybe
put it.
Approach it as a team, right? Have maximum 2 players with it, maybe 1 with a pistol if you want to save, and 2 with M4s.
And look at this the slow pace of this round. You can Fnatic just waiting and waiting and waiting. They've got a player into almost position on quad. You can see JW is there with the UMP. And now after waiting so much time, basically a full minute just sat more or less stationary. They're going to go for the push into the inner bomb or the outer bomb site in the A-bomb side, otherwise known as, and we'll have the first kill by JW in that forward position, but Nex wraps around Electric Box and finds himself the bomb. So that's going to be very interesting. Very weird positions here as Nex is able to hold this forward spot with teammates, and now Fnatic have to reclaim ground to take the bomb back into their hands. Deagle out for an explosive result, but Fnatic themselves will not be able to hold on in this round, and Mousesports survive with a sole Tabson, a stand-in, but at least they win the rounds, although it was costly.
Yes. Well, both teams are going to have a bye once again. Sorry, I'm just trolling down a little bit. Fnatic, full nades, Molotovs.
Also known as not doing your job, James. In this case.
I'll do whatever it takes, Dan. If it means I control you.
I respect the commitment.
Yeah. So we've got 3 players moving up Ivy, but there's a potential crossfire here for the CTs if they want it. Dennis and Chris J looking for some info, and that flash will be seen by the CTs before the smoke pops. And indeed, Dennis will get the 2 frags in, and he still has Chris J in for support, although it should be the other way around because Dennis is behind the smoke. Chris J takes JW down, so Fnatic getting wiped out over towards Ivy. 2 more players moving in. They have the bomb, but they are at a severe disadvantage now. Dennis trying to come in from the rear positions. Dennis versus Dennis, and Dennis will win. Flusher soon to go down afterwards.
Yeah, this is a case of Fnatic having a bit of a sloppy execute of what they wanted to do. I mean, great round from Dennis to get those kills in Ivy, but ideally you don't want to give him 2 duels. You want to run out at the same time while if he's able to kill the first player, then his teammate is able to get the trade kill immediately, and that's how it was supposed to be done, but their timing was a bit off there, and Mousesports wins the 2nd round in a row and forces Fnatic on a eco round, basically.
Yeah, it's quite nice to have your breakdowns in the round for round instead of waiting until the end of a map, I must say. And we see you on Twitter as well. So if anyone's interested in following Yanko on Twitter, he often, whilst he's in a green room, can see his thoughts on Twitter.
You can follow Yanko at James Bardoff.
All right, so we got the Deegs out, 5 Deegs, but only 1 frag so far. And actually, what is your Twitter for those who are wondering now, Yanko?
It's YNKCSGO.
YNKCSGO. All right, so looks like this is fairly clean so far, but there's still opportunity here for Fnatic to get more damage done. We'll have Nex around the train there as Flusher creeps close. This is going to be a very, very timing-based situation. Boom, there it is, Flusher. He picks up the kill and he knows that he can get an instant plant there, and that's actually an interesting setup because there is a player on alley here. Crims is over there with a Deagle as well, and he might be able to backstab somebody. Oh my god, okay, this is getting serious now. Flusher with another frag, and Crims is yet to even announce his position. This is incredibly scary. The patience from Crims is going to pay off, and now all of a sudden they have a man advantage. What a ridiculous situation. From a 2 versus 4 to a 2 versus 1. Fnatic looking very stylish right now as Tabson, the stand-in here for Mousesports, needs to try to clutch this, but where are these players? It's such an incredibly difficult bomb site to actually retake properly on, and he'll get eliminated by Flusher's Deagle for the 3rd kill. What a ridiculous situation. Very well played by Fnatic, but Yanko, what are your thoughts on that one? I can see you're disappointed.
I mean, like, how do you not... I mean, even if you don't know that Flasha is exactly there, there is some... You need to play in a position that you're not caught off guard by it, because that 1 kill on Nex gives them control of the bomb set, gives them the plant. If you're not sure if there's a player there potentially, you need to play in a spot so that you can get the information without dying immediately.
Speaking of dying immediately, we have 5 people down actually, so Mousesports not doing bad all things considered. Nico's got an AK as well, which he seems to drop for a brief second but picked up again. Anyway, the bomb isn't down yet for Fnatic, which means Mousesports can get up to some shenanigans. You can see them slowly walking.
Yeah, but again, similar on Cash. This round, the previous round that they lost to pistols only is detrimental to Mouse. They were basically on an eco more or less, and it's a gift to Fnatic, basically, because now their economy is looking great again. They'll have everything they need coming into the next gun round, while some of the players on Mousesports are going to have a weak bye still. And one round like this is basically can be all it takes for you to lose the game in the end, because you can't expect to win every gun round or to win every clutch, right? Those rounds will always go their respective ways, and there will always be mistakes made on both sides. But it's usually the team who makes less mistakes, or the team who makes not as big mistakes as it is losing to an equal pistol, who prevails in the end. So now look at this buy. They have 2 FAMASs, they saved 2 AKs, not a lot of nades on X, but Nico has an op.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but Nico on an AWP is always gonna be really nice for Mousesports, and it's got a good position to work from as well. But we need to see more solid coordination from Fnatic. We saw some sloppy execution of the coordinated pushes in previous when they take this bomb site, but here they come. There's no denying them, it would seem, as Mousesports are playing very far back. Nice taps here from Next onto the first player. Easily dealing with Dennis as he approaches the left side as well. JW trying to provide supporting fire, but he cannot get the refrags that are required to swing this in the favor of the Swedish side. Instead, it will be Mousesports in this round. 4 versus 1. And very important that they win this round cleanly. I mean, if their money they need to reinforce that money. That's what this is going to do. Oh my goodness gracious me. Oh my god, that was disgusting. He felt that shot from head to toe. And in goes JW for seconds. Let's see if he can make more of a meal of this as he looks to push. And they know that he's there, and this is an incredibly hard choke point to push out of. Oh my god, there's surely no way that JW can get more out of this. 20 seconds, he's trying to get all the damage he can. Wow, gets the tag onto Nico there. That is... Nico's just like, oh god. So 5-2-3 on the rounds, and Mousesports claim one back. But still a buy possibility here for Fnatic.
If Mousesports got a hair care sponsor, it could be called Mousesports.
How do you know, James, you're bald?
I'm not bald.
I mean, you cut your hair short.
I do.
You don't choose any hair product.
Yeah, but I'm not in Mousesports. Maybe if I wasn't, I would. There's a marketing job in there for me somewhere. Mousesports. It'll be a brief marketing job.
You could keep trying.
Maybe we can get them.
Failure is the way to success. Constant failure. And hopefully eventually success. So here we go, Fnatic making their way in now with this nade. Oh, hello, there it is, Dennis with 2 fast frags, and that is the B bomb site. Shut down. What are you going to do?
GG bell needs to be rung down.
Is it the GG bell? You know that there is actually a GG button. Why don't you just get one of those?
I have one already.
Well, why is it not here?
Because my bell's better than that one, by far.
The bell's just a bell. Sorry.
I think this round is a good example, because at the grand finals of Pro League, we had LGG2 play Train, and both teams were really going towards the outer bomb side a lot, especially G2 in all of their Train games in that tournament. And this is a good example how simple B execute can win you the round, right? You don't need to have anything that fancy, you just need to get the good entry kill, basically, or a good trade on the player towards B, and you can see that Dennis, by running through the smoke, he manages to catch the players who were there on the rotate as well. And I think it's a really powerful, especially if you're losing a lot of rounds, even if it's kind of predictable that you're going to go B. Well, the cities are not going to have 3 players waiting for you there, right? The worst that can happen is you have 2 players there, and you can eliminate them as well with a good usage of your grenade.
Well, you can see Nico's going a bit sneaky there, trying to circumvent the usage of nades, as you were mentioning, and using that ladder to get in quickly, but...
Didn't circumvent that bullet to his head.
No, that's pretty hard to do. Pretty hard to do, unless he has telekinetic powers, which maybe he does, but I'm yet to see them.
Or if he's Neo from the Matrix.
Or if he is Neo from the Matrix, but he is actually
he's
Nico.
in Ukraine right now.
Yes, there's that as well. So James, what do you make of this then? We got Nike on Chris J.
And Ukraine might be the Matrix then, because ex-CSGO Lounge beat Navi 2-1. I don't know if you knew about that.
They what?
By beating them on Mirage and Train.
Well, okay then. Only 2 of not his best
So-
maps. Brilliant. That makes
So anything is possible then in the game of Counter-Strike. Anything is possible.
But the X-Lounge team, they're much better online than LAN, but as well.
And it's the opposite for Naga.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah. Because
And apparently now we have a 14-7 lead on train.
bloody hell.
So Twilight Zone all over the place. But back to our own game, where Mousesports is getting wrecked after they lost to Pistols. It's also the Mousesports as a team, as far as I know, or how much I know about them.
That's insane.
When they lose a round like that, it can put them on tilt a little bit,
Right.
right? And it might be hard for them to recover. They may lose a couple more rounds because of that, because they're all really frustrated about it. It's a recurring theme for them. They start out good, they have a good chance of maybe making an upset, and then a round like that happens and everything just fades away. Yeah.
Right, and I mean to get them back on track, a big play from a single player can maybe do that, like give them a surprise victory, and that's not going to be happening here. We have a shutdown again on the A sites as Fnatic are easily taking control and dominance of the A site. And what can you do? Nico's just going to slide down the ladder a little bit, and he's going to get shot by the AK flusher.
Slide into my pop dog. As opposed to DMs. I don't know, I just wanted to say slide into my DMs without the DMs. Why are you all staring at me?
Tabson trying to save the gun.
Yanko is trying to tell you right here. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say anything until leave that silence there.
Time for some play-by-play.
Oh my god, I hate you guys.
JW sneaking with his Elder Wand. Tabson with the best avatar picture I've seen in a long time. I think awkward silence beats awkward death.
Wow.
That was good. That was great.
That was brutal.
That was
Savage.
great.
He was wrecked.
Well, where do you go from here? I feel like that. I feel like that entire situation there just put everything, like put a big reset button on the cast.
What is a pop dog anyway? I don't even know what it is.
It was because the train used to have a. It was like
I know,
a pop dog
I know.
train.
I mean, I know what the
like a made
call
up-
out is,
it's a made
but
up
what
brand.
is an actual pop dog?
No, I'm telling you, it was a train had a like a pop. It was like a brand of
Graffiti.
pop, and it was like a.
Oh, okay,
it's
so it was a
called
drink.
Pop Dog, and it was written on the train. So presumably the train contained pop dog.
What's
And it
wrong
was
with
like that
saying
in
slide
1.6.
into my pop dog then?
There's nothing wrong with it. It just sounds super weird and creepy. It makes you sound like a massive weirdo.
Okay.
So, but you're already a weirdo, so it's fine.
I'm not a weirdo. You're gonna leave me just hanging there as well? Wow.
You're not a weirdo, James.
I don't need a
Unless-
come back to that. I mean, you've done enough yourself, mate.
Then he gets weird when I've had far too much to drink. Tabson, the last man standing now. And he is going for a bit of a walk. So it seems he's going to perhaps look for somebody holding an angle around the main area. And he hears feet, so he should probably pull out his gun. Indeed he has.
Well, maybe he wants to knife him, James.
Maybe he does, but that's a little bit far for his knife. I would have found...
Is this one of your... What are your spots for knifing on train? Ooh, nice stab.
On train, oh, I'll tell you actually. My spots for knifing on train, right,
Of
are
course, he has a bunch.
Of course.
on Eco. There's actually, I've got a video on my channel
there
of
we
this
go.
specific spot. On the B-bomb site on train, when you're on Eco, get a smoke and maybe a defuse kit if you want to. Stand on the train itself, just behind the kind of pillar closer to where you see where the B sign is. You stand in the middle of it, right? So when the T start moving in, you bounce a smoke off this train that Nico's passing now onto default. So they plant in the smoke, thinking that there's teammates for it, and you just run in there and knife them, and then defuse the bomb if the team's lost.
Sounds
See,
legit.
see that sounds elaborate. He has a bunch of those for every map. So
But that's a legit way to allow a bomb plant as well. Get a knife and then get a defuse in the smoke.
that is a pretty high
Also,
value play.
a pretty good chance of you just failing and losing your team the round as well.
If it's an Eco, then you're probably going to lose anyway. You see, specific scenarios
If
where
only-
it's acceptable.
If only you were doing it on Ecos, James. If only.
You should. You know what you need to do is Liquid are stealing your nades now. You need to get them to start doing like bot off knife setups. But enough of that for now. We do have the A set piece coming in from the Fnatic side, as they've already lost a player as well adding to this round. So that's going to be a little bit of a setback, but let's see if they can't recover themselves here as they go in behind the nades. So Nex is close behind the E-box, and in fact he's got support from Dennis too. This is one way to actually deal with this, is having 2 forward players, but they have to connect the shots. And if one of them dies immediately, it becomes very hard for the remaining player. So let's see if they can get it done with their little setup. In goes Fnatic now, and you can see that Dennis is aware of this. He's going to turn around. He's got the players from both sides, and that is pretty brutal right there. But next, Dennis and Nico able to get a few frags here, putting it down to just Flusher on 10 points of health. His chances here are certainly slim to none, as he is killed.
That was a cool little setup from Mouse, the way they set up those crossfires as well. I think that Fnatic were caught a bit off guard by the smoke that Mousesports still had for A main, so you could see that they kind of stopped after all of their smokes popped, waiting for a pop flash and to jump through. I'm surprised the Flush even got to the 1v2 situation, but yeah, another round for Mousesports, and I feel that they really need both of the remaining rounds to have any chance of a comeback in the second half.
Unless you have something weird to say, James, it's your turn to talk. Let's do this.
Wow. Prerequisites. Okay, then. We've got 3 Ts moving up the Ivy area, which has been somewhat abandoned by the CTs for the time being, but we have a jumping... I feel like people are jumping too much in this game at the moment, but never mind that. Chris J is in position, and Dennis is in a bit of trouble. He's got 17 HP, and he has been taken down by the new man, Wenton. New man! Now we have CTs on the site itself, but all the frags are going the way of an angry Swedish side. 3 versus 1. Tabson's done great work for Mousesports so far, but there's only so much he can do. Surely he can't clutch this one. JW giving him a bit of an opportunity there, and he's going back for the repicks again. JW hungry. JW playing the confidence game as per usual. Interesting flashbang coming out there, but it's not going to do anything. Too many trains, too many man.
Tabson knows his nades, man. He was the one who threw the Molotov on Cash. The quad has this cheeky little flash.
I have to say though, the Molotov on Cash is fairly basic.
I haven't seen a lot of people throw
A lot of people don't throw that though. A lot of people don't know how to throw that.
I don't even know what to say. A lot of people are stupid.
Well, no, it's just like...
Well, we are talking only about professional CSGO players here, James.
If you play the game enough to understand the trajectory of grenades, it's a fairly basic Molotov, but there we go. JW off to a good start once again. JW playing at the height of confidence is a fun JW to watch. That said, Mousesports haven't lost a round yet. 2 versus 4. Tabson has a Deagle and Kevlar. And Nico has an AK but no armor. Would you have it the other way around? I think Yanko would probably say no. We'll see if they can do anything in this round. Crims hears all this jumping and should get some easy frags. Indeed he will. Super Mario Brothers may not be the best way to play Counter-Strike. 11-4 for Fnatic.
Indeed. I mean, you say there's like a lot of jumping in CSGO, and I think from many perspectives there always will be, because like it's exclusive of the whole shenanigans, the Kukli shenanigans. Even if you remove that, there's a lot of merit to doing it, to just bait out fire, to draw out fire, to like waste somebody's recoil so that you can take angles and so on. Like it's always going to be pretty effective.
I'm not talking about that kind of jumping though. I'm talking specifically about there was an update to the game where there's just, when they started making sound updates, if you remember, there was sound for running on different surfaces. They made a sound for landing, even from a normal jump. So it's just, you give your position away a lot more simply by jumping. But I feel like professional players have not made any adjustment to that whatsoever. So people are, I think, carelessly giving their position away in situations where they just don't need to.
Could perhaps be a bit of a leak, but we'll see. We're into the pistol round now, and we've got the Deagle on Chris J. Usually you see Nico is the guy on the team that gets the Deagle, and well, there it is, a quick headshot found. Although you could have probably done that with a PT50 as well, but Deagle is pretty hot as well. And we're going to have Tabson making a headshot onto Dennis, so just a lot of action towards Ivy. 2 players dead for each team as the T side of Mousesports are still trying to pressure in here, and B bomb site has been opened up by Mousesports. They realize that it's safe now. Nico's in there.
He is indeed, and he hears the sound of CT's looking for information. But what can he do? Can he exploit this information? Indeed, he can try. Crims is going to get tagged. He's going to go to red. He is going to go to 0. JW now last man standing. The bomb has a long way to go, though, so JW can get into position. He will opt for the walk. He's taken the silencer off, which will make his gun inaccurate, or less accurate, should I say. But Nico is ready. Nico knows all.
Does it actually
Nico
make
kills
it,
all.
Does it actually make it less accurate? Is that
Yes.
actually? It does actually.
There
make
is
it
not
less accurate.
a single thing that makes the pistol better without the silencer. Only thing is the
Nostalgia mode.
placebo effect
Right.
of having sound.
Yeah.
I mean, that some players prefer to actually have sound, even though the reason for having that gun is to have the silencer
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
and not
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I
not
mean,
even know where you are. If you're gonna play without the silencer, just get a P2K.
Yeah.
But moving swiftly on.
Guess
Yeah.
it's always a style factor as well. But yeah, moving swiftly on.
you could say, well, yeah, let's move swiftly on. Because you could argue about style factor with a negative purchase.
That's on one end of the spectrum, I suppose.
It is.
So we've got two HEs and Smoke. Quite a bunch of Deagles here as well. So quite an interesting selection from Fnatic. And it's basically just more or less for Mousesports. They just need to hit a bomb site quickly together. If they want to avoid some of the variants that can happen when you've got a bunch of pistols, don't give the Deagles an opportunity to fire too much. If you remove their ability for them to even take many shots and you got the bomb down already, then you're halfway to winning the round. So every time they peek, maybe one of those bullets connects.
I like that.
Oh.
If you want to win, don't let your opponents fire too many shots. Even for 2016.
Hey, but I'm serious, man.
I mean, I agree. I don't understand why teams are so spread out in their anti-eco rounds. Like, look at this.
Just gives so many opportunities for the CTs to just get shots off, and eventually one of those Deags is gonna get a headshot, and then you're left in this 2 versus 2. And there's another situation when Chris J is alone, and Capson has to go for the clutch. 2 players to find. He's got the first one in the bag. Will he be able to bag Dennis as well? Over the top of the train, and well, there you go. We get the round 1, and again, just a simple fast play into the A side or B side would have removed a lot of the variance there.
It's like they go for you are spread out and you go for these challenges and pushes. Still being spread out. Like you only have one player in ladder, one player in mid. You're forcing them to go out without any info to go for close range 1v1 aim duels against pistols, which is the only way the pistols can win. If you just group up, the weakness of pistols is that they don't have automatic fire, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Except for the CZ, so they can't really stop a push of 5 or 4 people going together as a unit. But if you go one by one, that's where you get wrecked, and get wrecked. Mousesports did.
Yeah, it's exactly the opposite of what you want to how you want to play against the strengths. Instead of playing into their strengths, instead of playing away from them, it makes no sense at all. It triggers me, actually. But I'm trying to be in happy mode right now. Nicely done with the Deags of Mousesports here, though. They're getting the shots off, but still the advantage with Fnatic. But the bomb has not been spotted yet for Fnatic, though they have a player in B, and it's generally quite easy for the CTs in this position. So no Kevlar on Chris J, and the bomb, will it go to B? Looks like it will.
Looks like Fnatic might be content to play retake on the B bomb site with the man advantage and 2 smokes. Obviously, Mousesports are not going to have a Molotov on this particular round, so that GG nonsense will not be in play. So JW having a look with the M4, seeing what is going down in Chinatown. I wonder if there is a Chinatown in the Ukraine. Maybe we'll find out one day. So JW sees the information, and that's going to pull a rotation, because surely the last 2 players are not split up. Oh, the Molotov, it will be the GG. No, it won't be the GG because it hasn't really hit the spot, although it will have eventually spread there. And JW will get the frag and celebrate with some pistol shots into the air, Dan.
Yeah, a little slow on the spread there. But it is really weird though, because that's one of those very obvious anti-eco sort of situations. Like going back to that point, that is a massive leak for Mousesports, like a huge game leak, where they should be able to take the round with a high percentage chance because they have a huge advantage. But instead they make it as difficult as possible, and in some spots way more spots than they should, they'll lose those rounds. And it's been highlighted so much recently. Teams who are inefficient at playing rounds like that, and also teams that are amazing at it, like NIP, have shown exactly what can be done. And those rounds are easy to identify.
I think they need a fresh pair of eyes to raise the importance of these issues.
It should never happen.
So you have to ask the question why they don't have a. Well, what I hope they're trying to get a coach. Yeah.
But who are they going to get, James?
That is the question.
I'll do it. All right, so we have now the Fnatic side is defending the B bomb side here for a quick attack. Bomb will get planted, but right now Mousesports just need rounds, and we actually get a frag back from next. So 2 players down for Fnatic, but it should still be fairly simple and straightforward for Fnatic to get in here. But look at the juking and jiving attempted by Tabson, a little bit annoying, but looks like Fnatic are okay.
Chris Jova, P50, and not much else. Those flames will pretty much put a stop to any attempted defense here. There's a smoke as well, so he'll hang on to his P50. We'll try to do more damage. Nicely done. And again, it goes back to what is the worth of Dennis chasing that frag?
Can I just say that, you know, he has almost nothing. Is it really worth giving up 5k of equipment to?
It's not, obviously, but
Yeah.
they're up 14-5,
Yeah.
and it's an online game, and
That's
he doesn't
true.
care.
That's a very good
Simple as
point.
that. He doesn't care. It's
That's a
much
very
more
good point.
fun chasing for it than staying and waiting for it.
If it was, you know, a couple of years ago, then it's, you know.
But I agree
It's
that
not
the
over
problem
saturation
is
tournaments and so on.
that as Nico gets the kills here,
Just call it way in advance. It's the UK gets killed.
yeah, and another one.
All right.
Oh man.
Yeah,
The bias.
The problem is that, you know, what you do in practice or even in official games like this, it's going to reflect to how you play to an extent when really matters, right?
Wait,
so you
I
do
agree
want to
completely,
try and get some consistency going there so that people are mentally used to it, right? More than anything else, so that it becomes something they do not even think about. It's their reflex.
Yeah,
At that
you want to
point, the round
practice-
is won. I'm not gonna die now needlessly.
You want to practice good habits as opposed to bad habits.
Exactly. And also the other thing as well, although let's come back to this, we have the 3 versus 4. So Fnatic.
This game is over then. We can talk about better things.
Well, let's see how this.
I'm kidding. There's always a chance, boys. There's always a chance, guys, for the comeback. You just gotta believe. You gotta play it round by round, and you can make it happen. But Dennis will get 2 kills here.
All right, Prophet Yanko. There's kill number 1. Will Dennis get the second, or will he over-deliver? Kill number 2.
He's not on scoreboard, just to be clear. Well, there's 3 kills for Dennis, and Flusher will finish things off. So Prophet Yanko has arrived. Where do I pay my dues?
I underestimated Dennis. He got a triple. I thought it was only going to be a double.
Don't make us kiss your feet, Yanko.
He is playing extremely well on this map, has to be pointed out. JW as well. Flasha, so the trio leading the way. I think it shows that when other players are playing well, the loss of Olof is not as obvious, maybe, right? The problem is when the rest of the players are not on their A game. That's where Olof Meister would step in for them and maybe bail them out in some of the tough situations.
Well, Mousesports moving quickly into the A site. However, they've left the bomb outside, which means at some point someone's going to have to go back for it. They've lost a player by Pop Dog. They've lost a player by Ivy as well. And there goes Nex and Nico. So, I mean, they were in a good position to charge the site, but the bomb was far behind. The Narcochase picked it up, but his entire team are dead. And someone's left the server already. No phase whatsoever in the Dutchman. And he's got himself a 1 versus 3 at present. Crims almost goes down, but not quite. So, indeed, Fnatic will take